Everyone, it's Halima from Afghanistan. I wanted to show you guys how to make a marble cake. And to do that, we are going to start with the ingredients as below, which will be in the description. Here I have in the bowl 3/4 of a cup of butter, which is like a 1.5 stick or 12 tablespoon in room temperature. I actually put mine in the microwave for about 30 seconds. So we're going to start with this, melt this up. And like I said, the ingredients would be on the description, but basically we're using butter for the wet ingredients. I know it's not my healthy version, but this is a really good Irish butter that's very rich. And then 4 large eggs, but some of the eggs are small, so I'm using 5. And then I'm using cocoa butter because I don't have chocolate. So what I did was I put a little bit of milk, enough to get this melted with the cocoa powder that I had. The other ingredient is basically sugar, which is a cup of sugar and half a cup of milk. I warmed it up in here. And then we're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla, and then the dry ingredients, which I have in here, is 2.5 cup of plus 2.5 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, which is that, and then into that I'm adding 1 1/4 of a teaspoon baking powder, which is this. It'll say baking powder. That helps with the rising of the flour. So that's in here. It's going in there. And then half a teaspoon of salt. That's going to go in there. So I'm going to add the half a teaspoon of salt. Let me get that going. So there's a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to just mix this up for the dry ingredients. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this into this chocolate milk, because I think a little bit too much milk in there. So we're going to put just a little bit of flour in here, which is about 1/4 of a cup of flour in my cocoa mix. So we're going to mix that up here. And this is the marble cake is basically, it's mixed of white and chocolate cake combined. And you put like a scoop of each, or you could do half chocolate, half white, and then kind of use your fork to go in between. But I'm going to go ahead and follow this recipe that I found on Pinterest, and I'm following it. And that one used the I think it was bittersweet chocolate, but I'm just using what I have because this is the era with the stupid coronavirus that you have to not go out as much. So I'm trying to avoid a trip. My son usually does the shopping, but I'm gonna go ahead and use what I got, to save his health as well if I don't need to. Anyway, so we're gonna start off with the butter. We're going to melt this and put it steaming. So that looks kind of creamy, and then we're gonna add the sugar. That's a cup of sugar, and the butter was 2.5 cup plus 3/4 of a cup of butter with which is like a 1.5 stick or 12 tablespoons. So I'm gonna mix the sugar with the butter. And then we're going to add the eggs one at a time. So we're going to add this. It looks like that got mixed, then maybe the next one. And it's important how you, in baking, it's very important, I guess, in cooking too, but how you do things, like if things are not in room temperature, like the eggs, I let them out in room temperature. The milk, I warmed it up. My ex-mother-in-law, she was, bless her soul, she was an excellent baker. Her name was Jeanette. She was like very good. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And then the next one, I know I put 2, I guess, earlier, but it's okay, you can just do one at a time. So, there we go. Trying to do it with one hand here. And this is going to be making this for a sweet girl. Her name is Alex. It's her 21st birthday, and I love her, so this is my one of my birthday presents for her. Happy birthday, Alex. 21st birthday, that's exciting. Anyway, so now we got all the eggs going, and then I'm going to put 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla in here. And it's better to use the real vanilla, but I only have the imitation. So it's 3/4 of a teaspoon. So here we go, with a 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. And then vanilla, I will say like this, vanilla, this is the Hill Country Fair vanilla. But it's nice to use the egg one too. I mean the real one. And then now we're going to, for the flour, we're going to put a little bit at a time, and I'm going to switch it between the flour and the milk. So I'm going to put a little bit of the flour, like that much, and then a little bit of the milk, a little bit of each. So I'm going to go like that. bit more flour now. And a little bit of the milk. And I put a little bit more. A little bit more milk. And I have the oven at 325 preheated. So I'm going to put the remaining flour and the remaining of the milk. And I think this recipe does not ask for any oil. I guess the butter is Another thing you could do is, while this is going, you can actually use a one of these spatulas that looks like these are really nice. So as you're mixing, you can do this. I'm holding my cell phone to video.